Okay, so right here I have two 8-inch cakes, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take my first cake, and I just took this out from the freezer so it's nice and cold so that it's easier for me to handle. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fill my cake. Just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this one right on top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go ahead and just cut a little bit off the end here. Just like this. So if you can see. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just cut off a little bit of the edges here. Just so that I get my shape. And it doesn't have to be perfect or anything, and so. And then I'm just gonna sharpen the edges here a little bit as well. Okay, so let me just go ahead and clean up my area and then show you what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and just pick up my cake here and then just put a little bit of buttercream at the bottom of my cake just so that it sticks onto my cake board. And I'm just using a 10-inch cake board, and I'm just gonna stick it onto the cake, just the cake board, just like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my crumb coat on my cake, and this is just to seal in any crumbs. And so this part right here does not have to be perfect. Crumb coat all completed. I'm just gonna go ahead and place this into my freezer for it to set before I do my final frosting. Black candy melt here, and I've just melted it and I have it in a piping bag, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off the tip a little bit, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just pipe on some a little picket fence and maybe a tree if I get to use it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just start piping little fences, and it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. You want it to be creepy and scary looking, and so, but I wanted to make sure that my bottom is a little bit even so that it will stick onto my cake board. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple of those. I'm also gonna come back over here and maybe make like a little scary, spooky tree, or try and attempt to make one. And I'm just making sure that it's thick enough for me to use so that when I'm putting it on my cake board, it doesn't break. So if you are planning on doing something like this, make sure that your chocolate is thick enough. And if you wanted to, you could probably just make a couple just in case it breaks. But that's all I want, just like that. Taken my cake out from the freezer. It's been in there for maybe about 10-15 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead and just frost all the sides of my cake, and I'm gonna leave the roof because I'm gonna pipe it on. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and just put my frosting on roughly. I don't want it to be too perfect here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and go all the way around my cake. Now that I have my cake all frosted, I'm just going to go ahead and just do an up motion, just like that. And again, I'm not looking for anything perfect, and so I'm just going to go ahead and repeat this and then clean my board and then show you what it looks like in a little bit. I have the same buttercream color as my house, and this is fitted with a Wilton 104 tip, and this is going to be the rooftop on my house. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a U shape, just like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat all the way up to the top and the other side. I'm just gonna go ahead and pipe on some windows and door on here. So this is what the house looks like so far. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just do a door. And this is just the inside. So I'm also gonna be doing the outside of the door too. So this is basically just going to be the light of the door here. And I'm gonna be putting a small window right here. And then maybe another window right here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and back here and do a couple of windows. Just like that. So I've taken my chocolate out from the refrigerator. And if you can see, I made a whole bunch of other stuff too. I made some tombstones, a couple of bats. I don't even know if I'm going to use that. Some window frames. And so I'm just going to grab my window frames and I'm just going to go ahead and just stick it onto my light, just like that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat it with all my windows. Okay, so before I put my door on and everything else, I'm just going to go ahead and just put some green buttercream on my cake board as grass. And this is a Juniper green color that I used. And I'm just going to go ahead and just spread this all over. And it doesn't have to be neat or anything. I actually want like a definition to it so that I can stick all my chocolate in. So let me show you what it looks like when I'm all done spreading this on. I have my grass all piped on, if you can see, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just add everything else to it. So I have my door that I made, and I'm just gonna place it in here like it's opened up a little bit. Just like that. And then I'm gonna be going ahead and putting on my fence. And of course, if you try this, you can do it any way you like. I'm going to see if I can put my tree on here too. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my tree on this side. And I'm just going to push it just in a little bit with my house so that it doesn't fall. And I'm just going to go ahead and put in the rest of my fence. Just like that. And I'm also going to be putting in my little tombstones that I made. Hopefully it sticks. So just like that. And my other one. And I made a little chimney too, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and stick that onto the house, just like that. So if you guys can see. And then I'll probably just stick on one of my bats that I made onto my house. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and just pipe on some bones on here. And again, it's a heart shape. And then another upside down heart shape. Just like that. So I'll be doing a couple of those and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is the final product of what my cake looks like. And if you can see, I also added my pumpkins that I had bought a couple days ago. And I also added a little bit of spider webs. And then I added my extra chocolate to the back of the house. But this is the final product, just something very simple, very easy to do. And so hopefully you guys like my tutorial on how I make this haunted house cake. And so if you guys have any comments, just go ahead and leave it down below. And as always, thanks so much for watching, you guys.